I had been working on my business for a few years.
In this episode, we're going to be sharing Diana's journey, where she was before she met me.
I had built my NLE Academy on Kajabi. When I was looking for someone who could help me, in the back of my mind too, I was like, well, I also need help with Kajabi. But I hadn't been at all focused on YouTube. I had just this gut feeling that using YouTube could help my business.
Where she is now.
People started reaching out, and he reached out to me solely from my YouTube, and he signed up. But as I was working with you, Ari, and then I could watch you working the platform, and I was just like, oh, that's how you do that.
Welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited because here we have Diana J. Brodie of NLE Academy, one of my amazing clients who has had incredible wins using the YouTube platform to get leads and sales. In this episode, we're going to be sharing Diana's journey, where she was before she met me, where she is now, and how you can potentially work with her. So, Diana, could you start by telling us who you are and what you do?
Sure, and thanks for having me, Ari. I super appreciate it. I'm Diana J. Brodie. I work with full-time video editors, emerging video editors, and assistant editors to transform their careers so that they can craft stories that they're excited to tell in genres that they love.
Amazing.
And also let's include in that, I can't remember if I mentioned the story producers as well. Like producers, I've had some executive producers hop in and take my classes also. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I'll put some links below to your YouTube channel and your website because I know there's a number of you following me who are video editors. So, Diana, where were you in your business when we first started working together?
I had been working on my business for a few years, in between gigs and stuff. But I hadn't been at all focused on YouTube. And I came across your videos on YouTube, and so I started watching those. I was like, this is interesting. This woman's got some stuff to share. So I watched you for probably about a year on YouTube because I knew I had just this gut feeling that using YouTube could help my business, but also there were things that I just wanted to put out there editing-wise. So I started the YouTube channel, and I kind of was like, sometimes I posted consistently, sometimes I didn't post consistently, but I just knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, missing some key elements here that can help make this channel more robust for the people watching the content, as well as help my my company as well.
I remember you sharing with me that you were watching other people on YouTube, trying to get a grasp of how you could use it to get leads and sales. You shared that you were considering some other people to work with. Why did you ultimately choose me to work with?
Well, that's a good question. I watched actually a lot of people. There's a lot of people I just completely was like, nope, that's not going to be right. Like if they, I just had to be the right vibe of sincerity and competence. I love the fact that you have this passion for helping people and helping society in general as well, right? To do good things for everything. And I liked that about you. That was super attractive. And then also your skill set just was so huge and robust. And I had built my NLE Academy on Kajabi. And so when I was looking for someone who could help me, in the back of my mind too, I was like, well, I also need help with Kajabi because I found it, some of it intuitive and some of it not at all intuitive. So I was, and juggling starting a business and starting and still taking gigs and editing, which I'm still doing. I'm still juggling the two. That didn't leave me a lot of time to learn Kajabi. So the fact that you had this massive skill set for YouTube and for reaching people and doing that with awesome authenticity, as well as having this skill set on Kajabi, you know, sifted you up to the top. And there's just so many people out there who are in your space who are so inauthentic, where you're just like, you can just tell, like, they're just collecting numbers of people, and whether those people are actually helped in the end is of less importance to them. So that really helped. That really helped a lot. And then there was one video you had where you had a pyramid and you were talking about the steps in order to gain organic traffic. And that's when I finally pulled the trigger, where I'm like, I want to know more about those steps. That makes sense to me. And what you were saying made sense to me. And so after probably about at least 9 months to a year of watching the videos that you were releasing, I finally just pulled the trigger. I'm like, I'm working with you. Let's go.
So it was both like a gut feeling of, oh, this feels right, but there was also the logical strategy, like, oh, there's steps,
Right.
this is tangible. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
you
great.
laid it out where I was like, "Oh, I that looks achievable." That looks like something I could, like, take those steps and do that thing.
Yeah, and for those of you who may not know, Kajabi is a platform that I often recommend coupling with YouTube. It's just a platform where you can list your offers, create offers, make landing pages. You can send out email campaigns to an email list that you build. I'll put a link below if you want to explore Kajabi, and you could potentially sign up for a free trial as well.
I started Next Level Editing Academy on Teachable, and slightly less expensive on Teachable, but it's such a clunky platform. I began to really dislike every time I had to go in and do anything on that platform, I was just filled with, like, angst and then soon rage. And so when I worked with someone who was like, yeah, I can set up, like, to help me design the class. Like, I did all the videos, I had all the content, it was all edited and ready to go for the courses. But I don't have an eye for design. So when I hired someone, they said, yeah, we can do it on Teachable. We prefer Kajabi for these reasons. Uh, and I was like, okay, they talked me into it, and I switched because I knew once it was built, and it was gonna be harder to switch platforms. And I couldn't be more thrilled with Kajabi. Just learning it, like, there was, like, the learning curve, but as I was working with you, Ari, and then I could watch you working the platform, and I was just like, oh, that's how you do that, so that was just a tremendous help.
Mhm. And, thank you for sharing that, and just, not to ever toot my own horn, but whenever someone comes into my world, I actually want to help them learn it because, like you said, that's one thing I frown upon in my niche is you see people who and you could tell, your gut can tell you that, okay, they don't care about you, they care about
Yeah,
getting people in their program, they care about their numbers. Even their videos seem a bit clickbaity and dopamine driven,
yeah,
and I can easily make videos like that, but I believe real leadership is coming from a place of authenticity and real care, which isn't always the
yeah.
most trendy at first, but I believe it's what we need for a better society so that
Yeah,
people like you, Diana, can truly use your passion and your expertise as your own full-time job. I don't even like the word full-time job, as your own business, as your
yeah.
own thing that you do. So with that being said, what were some of the key things that we did together that brought in good results, like specifically with your offers and your funnels and your
Yeah,
content?
I mean, it's interesting because,
Mhm.
I was just thinking of it as, like, you're gonna help me with the YouTube side of things, but you've got such a holistic approach that I didn't even anticipate. So not only did we work on YouTube and what's good for SEO and all of that, and what people, I may have the best information in the world, but if my thumbnail is like off-putting, they're not going to click on that. So that's I knew like that's the help I'm going to get. But then what I didn't expect was how you also paired that with, let's look at your landing pages and what do your landing pages look like, and let's redo the way your landing pages are so that it converts better, so that people take that next step. And and that was just amazing. Just the coupling of those two things. I feel like you can't really have one without the other. And I really wasn't thinking of them as sort of as symbiotic as you had uh, awoken me to, honestly.
Yeah, and you're right that they are symbiotic, but I find it very rare that you find someone who really has a firm grasp on both. Some people just really understand the YouTube side of things,
Right.
some people just the business, but I find it so rare for someone to see how they go hand in hand really seamlessly. So, with that in mind, what were some of your wins, Diana? I know you've gotten some great leads, some great clients, you've gotten featured in a newsletter. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And and it took a little bit of time, and to your credit, Ari, you kept telling me, you were like, "How long did it take you before you pulled the trigger with me? How many of my videos did you watch?" And that was super helpful so that I wasn't like getting down on myself of like, "Oh, maybe this," cuz I was like, "Well, I can see it works for like some things, like, but will it work in my niche?" And I was sort of I had full confidence in you, I just didn't have full confidence in me and the niche. But, yeah, I mean, it took a little bit, not that long, but once things started rolling, I was really starting to see people started reaching out. People started taking advantage of the CTAs that I was putting in, and they were hopping on my calendar. And whether that came to a sale or not, it was really heartening just to see that, that can work. That can work. People will reach out for that. So slowly but surely, people started reaching out. And then very recently, I had this one guy reach out to me who wanted to pivot careers. He's a teacher and he wanted to pivot careers into being a full-time editor, and what he teaches had nothing to do with video editing at all. He just has been doing it for a long time on his own, and he reached out to me solely from my YouTube, and he signed up, and I did what it's like, you a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate selling. Oh, I don't wanna," this was like a no I didn't have to he just wanted the information. He was already on board. He already knew, liked, and trusted me from watching my YouTube channel, and he said that, like, point blank. He's like, "I'm just ready. Let's just go." And all I had to do was tell him what would be he wanted to do a mentorship, so he signed up for a 6-month mentorship. So it's 6 months from a YouTube channel, from a free YouTube channel, to my highest ticket offer immediately.
Yeah, and I even remember you shared that in the group. You said that there's this guy who's been watching me. He heard the CTA, hopped on my calendar. You said bada bing, bada boom. He signed up for $3,000 for 6 months of mentorship.
Yeah,
So that really is the power. And I want to bring light to something that you said earlier because you were posting in the beginning, and I tell everyone this that you got to kind of push through the beginning
yeah,
because basic human psychology, it's not so much the algorithm, it's humans. You often need to hear like a TV commercial many times.
right,
You often need to build trust with someone throughout several videos before they bite the bullet and say yes.
right.
So, those of you who are just getting into this or you're just starting to integrate offers and CTAs, which are calls to actions, just be patient with it, trust the process, and know that there are people watching you who can be potential
Right.
clients. So you just gotta keep going with it, keep showing up, keep leading with value, putting your personality out there, and just inviting people to take that next step with you.
Yeah, it
So,
was it was pretty incredible, and then the other thing that started happening, as well as that I'm not a member of ACE, which is not necessarily a union. It's America Cinema Editors. But you'll see it like in movies. You'll see so and so ACE. You have to be invited in to join that. I'm not a member, but I have friends who are members of that. And all of a sudden, I started getting pings of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like the ACE newsletter, which comes out, I guess, I don't think it's weekly. I think it's like a couple times a month. But I don't know because I'm not a member. But they started picking up my videos. And so in their newsletter at the bottom, they were like, "Hey, here's a great video on blah blah blah." And I'm like, I don't know where that happened. I don't know how that happened. I do post on Facebook groups, so maybe somebody from ACE who works on the newsletter saw my post on one of the many Facebook groups of one of my videos and liked it. And so like two two or three I've been in 2 or 3 of their newsletters, and I was like, "Oh my," I was just astonished, and that really that really that really gave me a good boost. Just, those little sometimes it's like the little things where you're just like, "Oh my god," and, like, now I'm like, "Now I need to do better content because AC is watching," so
Yeah, so every video is like a seed.
yeah,
And sometimes seeds don't sprout right away. It can be weeks or months later where another
right.
opportunity comes. But if you planted a seed 6 months ago, you're going to be thanking yourself right now once it starts to grow and bear some fruit, as I call it. I get really fun with that
Absolutely.
metaphor. So I want to give you kudos, Diana, because I mean, you even said that you were confident in me, but you weren't quite sure if, your niche could work or you could make it work. So I want to give you kudos for continuing to show up and put value out there. And you were even doing some live streams as well. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I was doing that too. I was, once a month. I took a break over the summer, on them, but once a month for I'm not quite a year, I was very consistently doing, um, live streams where I would interview an editor or a director-editor combo or an assistant editor about what they're doing, what their project is, and their process on the project. And those were so fun, and I'm gonna get back to doing them, but every time I did a live stream, I noticed that I picked up a handful of subscribers, like, that day or the next day, and so, that became a thing where I was like, "Okay, well, this is interesting that people are it's sort of resonating with people." The strongest one that I did was with, an assistant editor who I worked with when I was working in LA. I'm up in San Francisco, and he's up in San Francisco now, so we worked together in LA, and then he came up to, the Bay Area, and he was an assistant editor for Pixar, and, he had to get permission to do the live stream with me, and then, Pixar blasted it in their internal newsletter, like, "Hey, our own Jamie Datz was featured on this podcast," and they threw the link out there, and that was a nice boost and a big help, and it's a great interview too if you, uh, click on the link below and hop over to my YouTube. Look for the live streams. Jamie Datz, he's been, like, over a decade, an assistant editor on many different, Academy Award-winning films for Pixar, and so there's a lot of great media. He came with a lot of good examples of things, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that does really make a difference on how interesting the conversation is when people have stuff to show."
Yeah, and I want to point out something here for those of you listening. That's branding by association. When you connect with other people in your industries and you connect with certain brands like Dinah with Pixar, it boosts your own brand. So that's another
Yeah.
great way to boost conversions is by really owning your expertise and what you've done. That's why Diana chose to work with me because I talked about my experience with TED Talks, doing Tony Robbins Business Mastery, working with big YouTube brands and exactly what I've done for them. So sometimes we don't do that because we just see it as ordinary, but in reality, they're extraordinary. So when you own that, you will increase conversions, which is why, Diana, your live streams have done really well. So I'll link those down below. And I'm also going to put your website for those who want to check out your work. Maybe they want to work with you. What can
Great.
people expect when they work with you? And what are some of the options that they could choose from?
We've got a whole bunch of stuff up there as options. If you're an editor and you've been working in Premiere, but you want to edit feature films or feature documentaries or national commercials or television, you want to work for a streamer, Netflix, edit stuff for, reality shows for HBO Max or something like that. Almost all of those are edited on Avid Media Composer. So I have a full course from ingest to online prep, for Avid Media Composer, and people who have gone through the class have in very short order picked up gigs editing on Avid. So and the best part about that course is that unlike lynda.com, or I think LinkedIn bought that, so now it's LinkedIn Learning or something like that, or just looking at various YouTube tutorials on Avid, which you can do, and on my page as well, and I do a lot of comparing and contrasting Avid to Premiere. But unlike just doing those, I will always be there for you. If you're doing doing my course and something isn't working as expected, you can just send me an email and I will hop on a Zoom with you and we will sort out what the problem is. Or if something's confusing to you and you just can't wrap your mind around the concept, I am there for you. I send out an email every week reminding people, hop on my calendar, let's hop on a Zoom if you're stuck and you're having trouble. So you get this one-on-one throughout the entire time you're taking the course. You can finish the whole course too, by the way. It's 8 modules. If you do a module a week, you can be Avid, up and running on Avid, and take gigs on Avid in 2 months. And so that's a big offer that we have. I also have do deep dives with people. You can book a 3-hour deep dive with me, and we will go over your reel, your resume, your website. I will spend hours looking for post-production houses in your area. Or if you're looking for specifically remote work, or you don't mind moving, I will open it up to the whole globe if you want. So I will do all that legwork for you. I will help you with all the AI, the stuff that the AI is looking for. So if you're applying over LinkedIn for a gig, or Indeed, or Staff Me Up, or any of these, a lot of those, they're going to be read by an AI before they ever get to a human, your resume and your cover letter. I will help you craft that. I will help with getting keywords in that's going to help the AI choose you more than someone else, so you match more. So we will go through all of that. Also, I've had people use that 3-hour deep dive to do a one-on-one on concepts of Premiere that they don't know. Or if they're an Avid editor looking to move to Premiere, I've done a 3-hour tutorial on the basics of Premiere. Or vice versa, a Premiere editor looking to hop over to Avid. Recently had somebody do a 3-hour deep dive with me to learn the basics of Premiere who came from FCPX and didn't know Premiere or Avid. So I could go down and just give them in 3 hours the basics, and then they can book other tutorials with me after that. And then we also have there's a number of things. The mentorship. And then the mentorship. I was like, what am I leaving out? I should have written this down. And then there's the mentorship. You can do a 6-month mentorship with me where we meet twice a month. and we chart out a course for where you want your post-production career to go to. And we hit concepts you might not be aware of that you didn't even know about storytelling. We'll go over, there's a metric ton of stuff that we go over in the mentorship that gets you ready to really elevate your career to the next level. And I've done a ton of them. And the people who've gone through it have had just a lot of success afterwards. So it does my heart good. So I want everybody to have a good career. Also, super quick, I forgot to mention, in the Avid course, you also get access to footage for a professionally shot documentary and footage for and the full documentary short and the full narrative short, so that you can edit that together. And then when people say, "Oh, what have you edited on Avid?" you can be like, if you want to go into editing motion pictures, you can say, "Here you go. I've edited this short on Avid, and it looks great, professionally shot, and I've paid for the licensing for that." And that Avid course, by the way, if you sign up for the mentorship, you get the entire Avid course for free. That's
Nice.
free for you. So it's just a huge benefit. And it just does my heart good. I want everybody's career to be awesome. I want everybody to love their career and to be editing the genres they want to edit, and to be able to navigate what's happening in our industry better, because things have imploded. So let me help you to navigate this so that you can have a successful career even when things are as crazy as they are right now.
Yes, and Diana, that's why I love working with you, is because you have a deeper mission and purpose. And I could tell when I met you that, wow, you absolutely know your stuff. Like, you are a true expert, and it comes from a place of, like we talked about earlier, wanting a better society. I think we're aligned there that we want a society where people actually love the work that they do and they're living out their passions. And so, whichever route you choose to go down with Diana, I know her very well, and she will deliver, she will
I am
follow on her promise. So, again, I'll put her links down below, and see it as an investment in your future. By
Yeah.
investing with Diana, you can shortcut your success and get to where you want to be faster, easier, and with less headache. One last quick question for the audience, Diana.
Sure.
If someone right now is on the fence about joining your program or even my program where they can get support with YouTube, what advice would you have for them right now? If they're on their fence, they're not sure if they should work with you or work with me, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say the same thing for both of us, honestly. I think we're very aligned in this. We are absolutely dedicated to making sure you're successful. That's really our passion. That's really what gets me out of bed in the morning. And so, and let me know if I'm misspeaking for you as well, Ari, but I feel like both of us, we just want to make sure you're successful, and we're going to get up every morning and do everything we can to make sure that that happens. So, even if things seem slow, like when I started working with you, Ari, and things were sort of, ramping up slowly for me, and you were like, trust the process, trust the process. And now I'm saying that to people I'm working with, trust the process, we'll get there. The industry is crazy right now, but jobs are out there. So let's continue to work until we get you where you want to go.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful takeaway message for everyone. Trust the process. If anything was instant, then everybody would just be successful and happy, but that's not the
Right.
reality we live in.
Uh,
But it's good because it makes life a fun journey where you get to go after your dreams. So, thank you everyone for watching this episode. Again, we'll put all of our links down below, and follow Diana on YouTube. Follow me as well for more episodes, and we'll see you for the next episodes. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Ari.